Killzone, the Halo Killer. Released in November 2nd, 2004, 7 days before Halo 2 was released. Killzone was heavily anticipated, with several publications considering it to be Sony's Halo Killer title. When it finally released, however, it was far from killing Halo. The gaming critics liked the visuals, art design, soundtrack, and atmosphere. But what went wrong? The narrative, characters...
If it hadn't been for this guy.
Sergeant Rico Velasquez, sir.
Well, Sergeant, it seems these two owe you,
It's the enemy who owe me, not these two. The Hellgas scum wiped out my entire platoon, and they'll be paying off that debt in blood for as long as I breathe.
The overall gameplay were viewed as being very dull. Lots of inconsistent AI, occasional bugs, some outright terrible frame rate, repetition using the same voice actors, short draw distance, and an awkward control system. And because of all of that, it received average reviews. It's possible Killzone would have been viewed more positively if it weren't for all the incredible publicity it received before release, raising expectations only for them to go unfulfilled. The term Halo Killer came and gone. The single-player campaign offers 11 missions, with each of them being broken into multiple parts, making a lengthy game. Killzone can actually start off pretty fun, but at times, it can feel like a chore to plow through wave after wave of Hellgas to get to the next level. However, the multiplayer fares a lot better. I remember playing online all the time back in the day. It was actually really enjoyable. You can play with up to 16 other players online with multiple modes. Comparing the actual frame rates between the PS2 and the PS3 is almost the same. Both games cap out at 30 frames, and both drop below often. The PlayStation 2 does drop way lower as expected, oftentimes going as low as 10 to 15 frames in high-octane action. The PlayStation 3 mostly sticks around 20 to 30 frames, and is way more of an enjoyable experience. Then we go on to emulation. Killzone on PCSX2 plays and looks so much better than the PlayStation 2 copy. The frames are around the same as the PS3's FPS. PlayStation 3 emulator RPCS3 actually runs a lot of games perfect, but Killzone for PS3 is not one of them. It is fully playable, but only maintaining around 10 frames per second. Let's take a look at the load time from the PlayStation 2 and 3. The PS2 is actually faster at 7 seconds, and the PS3 takes 9 seconds to load. Not a huge difference, just crazy because the PlayStation 3 is so much more powerful. Let's first compare the PS2 and PCSX2, the PlayStation 2 emulator. I want to do this because they are from the same exact source, so I thought it would make for a good start. Look at how much better the emulation can improve a PS2 game. All the aliasing is gone, making it look like an early PS3 game. The sharpness is unreal, you can see it so clearly. It's almost as if the Killzone HD for PS3 just used the PS2 emulation on the PlayStation 3. When bringing in the PS3 compared to the PCSX2, we do see the PlayStation 3 version is actually further enhanced. The overall sharpness is improved on greatly from the PlayStation 2 counterpart, and even sharper than the emulation. The view distance still sucks, but that's probably how they wanted it to be, all foggy for the overall atmosphere. Now, comparing the PS2 versus PS3, it's obvious the PlayStation 3 is going to be miles better, but if we look at the PS2, it is so freaking dark. And yes, I am using component cables, so shh. This also brings me to my next point, the controls. The PS3 remapped the game's controls. To change weapons on the PS2, it's pressing the circle button, but on the PS3 it's triangle. Reload has moved to square on PlayStation 3 instead of triangle, throw grenades is relocated to R2 instead of PS2's L1, and lastly, heat vision is now circle instead of square. At least action, fire, and crouch are all the same, although I feel that crouch is usually set to circle or B on games these days. Moving on to the sniper rifle, on the PlayStation 2 it's so freaking hard to hit people. It's very sensitive and has bullet drops, so that means you can't center your target, you need to adjust for the bullet drop. On the PS3 they added a circle to the center and it made it so much easier to use the sniper rifles. The movement is smoother and you can now hit targets in the center of the scope. bringing in all four to the mix, we see the PS3 and RPCS3 are pretty much identical, but the PlayStation 3 does look a tad better. Going over the PlayStation 2 and PCSX2, it's clear the emulation is better, and also the emulation is so close to looking like a PlayStation 3 game, but it lacks the sharpness and contrast. Overall, the game is fun to play, but it's nothing special. The gritty war atmosphere is a nice touch, but the later games on the PS3, Vita, and PS4 fare much better. If you were to play this game today, pick either the PS2 emulation or the HD port on PlayStation 3. With that being said, I'm Jurassic Ninja and you just watched my side-by-side of Killzone. Please remember to subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell, and share this video. Until next time, take it easy.